was inspired by a lot of creators. I'm just trying to take my time with this next one and bringing that story to life.
I know you got a lot of fans here in Malaysia. We've been playing Reckless like non-stop over here on HITZ, but I do know that we're probably one of the first people in Malaysia to ever talk to you. So I wanted to ask you if you could give me 3 random things that fans might not know about Madison Beer.
I'm from New York. Maybe some people don't know that.
Okay.
I have a little brother named Ryder, and I've got a dog named Bowie.
All right, cool. And I'm not surprised that a lot of people have asked you this because you've been on social media since like you were 12 years old. You started on you started with YouTube, and I first saw you on Facebook, funnily enough,
Really?
and then Instagram and TikTok. So what do you think is the biggest difference for you on all the different apps?
So I think I grew up with YouTube. To be honest, I think it's like my most loved platform. I was inspired by a lot of creators at a really young age on YouTube, and I definitely would not have decided to make covers if it wasn't for YouTube. So I think YouTube will always hold like the #1 spot in my heart. I also like the algorithm of it, where you kind of like just are watching content you want to, versus where I feel like something like TikTok, it's like just everything all the time. And same with Instagram, it's not as like curated to like only what you want to see, I guess I'm trying to say. But I would say YouTube is probably my favorite. I think it was the earliest creative outlet for a lot of people, I would say. So I will always be a fan and grateful to YouTube.
And you also said like your visual artistry is as important as the song itself, and I agree, because I'm one of those people who might be a little bit more excited for the music video than the actual song usually. Like if a song's coming out, I'm like, cool. If a music video is coming out, I'm like parked there waiting,
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. That's how I am too. I think it just adds like a whole other layer, especially like, if growing up you're like a visual learner and you're someone who needs to see a visual in order to like understand something better. I would say that music videos are like a super important part of making a story that you're telling in a song come together and like wrap up really nicely. So that's definitely like one of my favorite parts of the process, is bringing that story to life. And actually, like writing it is different because you're writing lyrics and you're using words, whereas like visuals, you're like, okay, what would the best outfit be for this? What would the environment look like? It's just a completely different like mindset. So it's interesting. It's a really, really fun part of the process.
And you've done some pretty cool ones. Like a lot of yours are very story based. So I guess I wanted to ask, how do you come up with those storylines?
I wish I knew. They just kind of come to me. Like I, know that synesthesia is something that people have when they see colors, when they write music and make music, which I have a layer of that, but I feel like my thing is mainly like videos. Like I'll just have a concept hit me and I feel like, a lot of it is like syncing a song that I'm making to a scene in a movie. That is always how my brain kind of works, where I'm like correlating it back to something that I've seen in a film, and then that can kind of be a source of inspiration. Like for example, Reckless obviously has a lot of Alice in Wonderland vibes to it. It has like a storytelling kind of tone. So yeah, I think that it all kind of just like comes together, and I have a vault in my head of like all these movies and whatever. And so when I'm writing a song, I can like very visibly see what movie this would work in, etc., etc. So it's great. It's really fun.
Okay, and I got like a little game for you. It's about your song titles on the album. So what would a guy have to do in the beginning to get your attention?
I'm not sure. I think that I pay attention to people's smiles and people's laughs, and so maybe that's the first initial like attention grabbing thing, but I'm not too sure. I think a lot of like my interest gets piqued at a first conversation, but I like people's smiles and to see them happy.
What's the one default physical trait that you can't help but be attracted to?
That's really tough. I'm not sure that I have one. I think that I like, anything. Honestly, I'm not really like, I don't have like a type per se, I guess, but I can't help but fall for like a cute laugh. I think I'm a sucker for a cute laugh.
And the one thing that you'd be able to forgive a guy for being selfish with?
His personal space, I would say. I respect people's, time they want alone. And I don't think that's selfish, but I would be able to respect that, I think.
Last 2. So a pet name you'd like a guy to call you other than baby?
I don't know. In my previous relationships, they've always been strange and like not normal pet names. I've been called every name in the book. So I don't really know. I think that it just depends on the person. And like, I feel like the best ones kind of develop as you start dating, and like whatever naturally begins to come out is probably the best thing.
And one artist's music that you could not accept him disliking?
Maybe I would say Daft Punk, I guess, would be my like obvious answer. Even I guess Tame Impala too. I'm a really big Tame Impala fan. I like, yeah, I don't know if I could date someone who I couldn't vibe at a concert of theirs with. So
okay, interesting. All right, and if we go back to your music, you released your album Life Support beginning of this year, Reckless mid this year, and your second album is rumored to be released end of this year. So that's a much tighter timeline than most artists. What inspired this decision?
Well, obviously it's not set in stone. You know, we're still working on it currently, and it's you know, the timeline is up in the air. But I would say I don't know, I really want to get on like a snowball kind of thing where I'm releasing music consistently, and you know, one comes after the other. And especially with the music I'm making now, like you said, it has a very like storytelling kind of vibe to it and tone. So I want to continue that, and I feel like the only way to properly tell a story is kind of being like episodic with it and releasing it consistently, at least more consistently than I have in the past. So not 100% sure the album will make it out by the end of the year. We're gonna try, but still, when I start my next phase and I start album 2, I definitely want to start it and be consistent with everything, have a plan mapped out for all of it and whatnot.
Well, Reckless is still doing really, really well. Like I said, we've been playing it nonstop here.
Thank you.
Can we expect any new music coming out anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on a lot of stuff, and all I want is to start getting it out there. But you know, like I said, I think the last thing I want is to have to tell a fraction or chapter of the story and then not have another part come out for like months. So I'm just trying to take my time with this next one and be strategic, because I'm wanting my next one to then be followed up by another and another and another, and then the album. So we'll see. Hopefully yes, but I'm definitely gonna try to take my time and just wait till I have a solid plan set in stone.
Cool. And before I let you go, I wanted to ask, could you send a message to your Malaysian fans, but could you end it with something in Malay, our national language?
Of course, if you teach me, I can do it. How do you say I love you?
I love you. Saya sayang kamu.
First of all, I just want to say it's been so mind-blowing to see how much the song has connected in Malaysia, and I'm just so like touched and honored, and I hope to make it over there soon. And yeah, like just endlessly thank you for the support. It's been genuinely so wild to me to see how much it's connected over there, and like everyone is so amazing and awesome. And now I'm gonna try to say this. Saya sayang kamu.
That's pretty good. Saya
I'll work on it.
Oh yeah.
Saya sayang kamu.